Hey everybody, this is Chusla, and I founded One to All 3 years ago. And this is a walkthrough of how to set up the one.market NFT marketplace. So this is the first complete NFT marketplace that was built entirely from top to bottom in no code. And I hope you have fun building with it like I did. So this is going to be a walkthrough to set this template up for the first time. So if you're new to the app, hopefully this will be helpful for you. And we're really going to run through from scratch. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new app using this template. So the one.market NFT marketplace. And there we go. We're going to start with basic features. I'll give you a little explanation why in a second once we get this up and running. But what we're going to do is we're going to launch the app. We're going to get it set up in terms of the plugin inputs and configurations. And our goal is to be able to log in and get ourselves set up as an admin. So here we go. We have our new app. We're taking a look at it just in real time here. And what we're going to do and what you can do, one of the first things you can do is actually invite one to all as a collaborator. So what you do is go to settings and collaboration, and you can invite us by inviting hello at one-to-all.io. Now, the big benefit here is obviously I'm already in this app, but you would see another line here with hello at one-to-all.io. Once I've been invited, what I can do is actually upgrade your app to an agency plan, and we're going to do that right now. And what an agency plan gets you is the ability to use all of the plugins in the entire Bubble ecosystem for free. And the idea here is to be able to build, experiment, really get your app where you want it to be, and not have to worry about just run-ons, monthly subscriptions for plugins and things like that when you haven't even launched it. Now, obviously, when you're ready to launch and deploy this live, you will need to upgrade, to a proper paid plan. But I think this is a really beneficial thing that Bubble allows people to do in the meantime. And by default, the agency plan does have a username and password applied to it. So this, again, is one reason you would need to upgrade your plan to a paid plan to kind of remove that for the live app. But again, I think it's a really, really good trade-off. So let's get going here. If we're going to log in, we're going to see that it doesn't work just as is because, and here's that username and password, and we'll get in. And we won't be able to log in because some of the key plugins we need, firstly, Web3 Auth, which is the one we use for login and wallet generation, is not properly configured yet. So quick tip here, if you want to see errors, you can hit F12 on Chrome. And here you'll see a bunch of errors with Web3 Auth because it's not initialized. It's not set up properly. And so let's do that. To do that, let's move little floating head over here. And there's a bunch of plugins here. Most of these are for UX or some key workflows that are added. And the most critical ones that we're going to focus on now are Web3 Auth and Thirdweb. So for Web3 Auth, we click into that. And we'll see a couple of open fields here that we're going to need to populate. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to Web3 Auth, and it's actually dashboard.web3auth.io, and we're going to log in. So we can use a bunch of different methodologies to log in. What I'm going to do here is actually log in with a brand new email. So I'm going to create a brand new account. And it's going to send me a confirmation code. There we go. And double check this. This looks good. Punch in some stuff here. NFT, cool. Interesting. Okay. So once we're in, we want to click Add New Project. And then we will create our first project rather. And what we want to do is select Plug and Play. That's the SDK we're using. We want to select Web Application and EVM compatible chains and create our project. There you go. That's one of our first big steps here. We've just created a project. One thing we want to do that's pretty important is we want to, well, let's close this developer console here. We need to whitelist the domain, so we're going to do that. So this is the preview app. Here's our app domain as it currently stands. Now, when you're eventually ready to map this to a custom domain, you're going to want to remember to come back to Web3Auth and whitelist that as well. But for now, we can use this test domain that Bubble provides. What I like to do here, just to be on the safe side, is add both the live domain, which is this one, and the development domain, which is this one, with the version test. That's how Bubble differentiates. And with that, what we should see, once we refresh here, what we should see is, let's see, let's double check. Okay, we need to punch this in. Right, we need to paste in our client ID. That's a good thing to get done. And then secondly, what we want to do is actually upgrade this project to a mainnet project. And we do that by clicking this down here. And this is something that Web3Auth requires. If you're going to access their mainnet environment, which is Sapphire Mainnet, you need to create a mainnet project. They do require you to add a card, so I'm going to pause here, put in a quick card just for demonstration purposes, and we'll come back after that's done. So we're back. We have our mainnet version of the project now, and same thing. What we're going to want to do is whitelist this, whitelist these domains rather. All right, cool. And let's grab this client ID. Let's come back to our setup page. Cool. One step done. We've now populated our client IDs. Now you'll notice there's another couple inputs for Walletconnect and Walletconnect project IDs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Walletconnect, which has now actually been rebranded to reown. So you can confirm this if you put in walletconnect.com, it forwards you to reown. So that is now their brand, their URL. So let's go with that. So their dashboard's located at cloud.reown.com. Similar situation here. I want to create a new email and a new account just for demonstration purposes. And let's create a password too. And they'll send a confirmation again. There we go. Confirm. And they'll ask you to log in one more time. And that should do it. So here we go. Actually, sorry, we logged in with the wrong account. There we go. That's the one we want. Okay, there we go. So no project, you'll see this is a clean account. What we want to do is create a project. We want to select wallet, continue, JavaScript, continue. And there we go. And from there, you're pretty much done. So what you want to do is grab that project ID, paste it in, and in this case, we're going to just paste it into both slots. If you wanted to create one for DevNet, one for mainnet, you could go ahead and do that too, but for our purposes, we're just going to use one for both environments, and that's okay. That same value, we're going to pop over to Thirdweb, and you'll see a slot for the Walletconnect project ID as well for Thirdweb, and we can just punch that straight in as well, same project ID. And now we're going to move to Thirdweb. So what we're going to want to do is similarly create a client ID for Thirdweb. And the way we do that, we're going to go to thirdweb.com/dashboard. So here you go. And same thing, we can actually create an account just with an email. So here we go. Double back and check, and there we go. There's our code. Punch that in. And confirm our email. And should be on our way here. And here we can click skip for now. No worries. And we're in. So we're going to want to create a project. So we go to projects, click add new project. And this one will be test 1. If you want more security around who can access the functions and calls of this particular project via API, etc., you can limit the requesting domains. In our case, we're just going to leave this open. And there you go. Here's our client ID. Let's go back here. Again, you could create 2 projects, one for testnet, one for mainnet. For our purposes here, we're just going to use the same one. So let's go back, grab our secrets. Don't forget to grab that secret too, because once you close that modal, you won't be able to access it again. And we're looking pretty good here. We're looking pretty good. So let's give this a shot. So let's close out of our development console. And this is a good sign. You saw earlier there were errors. Now we have a modal, so that's the first milestone, if you will. We now have a successful modal launch. We can connect with Google. I'm going to connect with my test account. Cool, and we're in. And you'll see we have a modal here for new users where they can punch in different social media accounts. We're going to click Not Now. And yeah, we have a brand new account, new wallet spun up for this account. And, cool things here like dark theme, whatnot. Now, the important thing to do if you're setting this up for yourself, we're going to go to Data, App Data, and Users. We're going to see ourselves, this new user. And we want to set ourselves as an admin. So we click the little pencil edit button, do a search for admin, and there it is, user as admin. We want to switch that to yes, because we want that particular user, our user, to be able to access the admin settings page. You'll see that instantly shows up once I've toggled that value in the bubble database. And here's our admin page. There's some UX related customizations that you can access directly from here, your company email, etc. But the key one we're going to look at is technical settings. You'll see this app template now by default is pointed towards base Sepolia, which in my opinion is the most stable of the testnets at this point, even more stable than Polygon. For whatever reason, once they switched to Amoy, it's been, I haven't had as much luck with it, but yeah, base has been really good. So base Sepolia, it's already pointed towards that. If I wanted to switch it to another testnet, I could, just with this drop down. If folks have other testnets that they want to add, then feel free to drop a note. But what really drives all these different options is if you go to data and option sets, there's a group of option sets called settings, technical option sets. And here you'll see all the different chains. And so if you wanted to spin one up, you could actually create your own option here for a brand new chain. And then, it would pop up in the drop down. So that's really it. The last thing we would want to do, just in terms of setting up, let's say the marketplace functionality, is we want to deploy a Thirdweb marketplace contract. And the way we do that is we go to Thirdweb, and let's close this out. We go to contracts and deploy contract, and we want to deploy a marketplace v3 contract. So here it is, v3. And this will be our test one contract. If we want gasless functionality, this is recommended for folks who want a better user experience for their users. So what you can do is you can enable, you can effectively sponsor gas for certain transactions for your users, and this overcomes that initial hurdle where if you're a first-time user, brand new wallet, you don't have enough of a balance to even do a simple transaction, and it can be frustrating for people who are completely new to the space. So they used to have a button here to just populate the default forwarding addresses. For some reason, they've removed that. So what you can do is look up Thirdweb default forwarder, and it's here, this one, 0xD04. So we're just going to copy that. Again, I'm not sure why they removed that button, but it is what it is. And what we're going to do is we want to make sure we're deploying this on the proper chain. So here it is, base Sepolia. And the last thing we're going to do here is if we check our wallet, we do not have any ETH ourselves. So there's a couple ways we can do this. We can go to various faucets. There's a lot of them available. Each of them at this point typically require some sort of like sign up or something like that. So we're not going to do that just now. I'm actually just going to send myself some test ETH. One I would recommend though is Alchemy, and they're really fast, really reliable. They don't run out of test ETH. Even Thirdweb's faucet has run out of test ETH, and yeah, but you can try any one of these to get your initial amount. The nice thing is on base and even the testnet, transactions cost like fractions of a penny. And so even 0.1 ETH is plenty to do a ton of transactions. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pause, send myself some ETH, and we'll come back in a second. All right, so we're back. I just sent some 0.01 ETH, which is like 37 bucks equivalent. And again, plenty for lots and lots of transactions. So there you go, 0.01 ETH. It's already registered. That's been 20 seconds maybe since I sent it, so pretty good. So yeah, let's try this. We're going to deploy. We'll give this a second, and what we should see once it's deployed, it'll pop up in our dashboard, and from there, most importantly, we want to grab the address. We're going to grab the address and then plop it into our admin dashboard on the app, and then we're ready to go. There we go. So that's going to be our test marketplace contract. You're going to want to go through this similar step once you're ready to deploy to live and mainnet. And you're going to want to deploy a marketplace v3 contract to, let's say, Ethereum mainnet or Base mainnet or what have you, right? Polygon mainnet. And whatever contract that spits out and creates, you're going to want to take that address and again, plop that into the admin settings, page. And so here it is. Let's just make sure we copied that. There we go. Yep, copied that, pasted it in. And update technical settings. There we go. All right. If we scroll down the page, there's a couple other values that are important. So again, if you want to do gasless, we're not going to focus so much on that in this video. You can check out, there's a link here to a really insightful blog from Thirdweb themselves in terms of how to set that up using OpenZeppelin. Other things, if you want a platform fee applied, if you Let's say for any transaction done through your marketplace contract, you want 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever the value, and whatever wallet you want those fees to be sent to, you can punch that in here. Creator royalties, again, there's a default royalty value that'll just pop up whenever someone creates an NFT. And then, again, different services here: Wort, Ramp, Transact. They're all payment providers. And so depending if you want to use any of those, I would actually recommend Wort. That's the one that I found to be the most reliable. And that's the one that we would use for NFT checkout as well. Ramp and Transact we have for fiat on-ramp, but not for NFT checkout. They don't actually offer those features, at least as far as I know. Finally, Simplehash is an important one. We can actually do that one as well. So what we want to do is get a Simplehash API key. Simplehash is a really phenomenal NFT kind of data querying service. It's an API. And it's really the backbone for a lot of our back-end, on-chain queries, right? So finding out, hey, who owns this? What's kind of the history for a particular NFT? So highly recommend it. So let's actually do that one as well. So we're going to create an account. And let's use our test account again. And sure, let's use our strong password here. I'm not a robot. All right. So please check your email. Okay, we'll do that. Seeing a pattern here. So verify account. And let's log in. There we go. All right, generate a new API key. Let's copy that sucker, and we're off to the races. So let's go back to our app, punch it in, and paste. Let's make sure that it got it. We might need to do a quick refresh here. If not, I can actually walk through. There we go. Yep, so settings have updated. So great, we got that. And that's pretty much it. So we've set up our developer environment. Now, the last thing we want to do is do the same for the live environment. So let's jump over to the live environment. First thing we want to do is actually deploy our changes, which will push the client IDs and project keys and all that stuff to the live environment. So that's the purpose and the goal of the deploy. And a little something that I've added in this latest version is an init page or initialization page. So what this is for is to allow you to set your chain for the first time without having any users in the database. So initially, what you'd have to do is go through a couple more steps where you have to push some values to the live environment from the development environment, and a little bit of a hassle. So I added this quick button and quick page where this button only shows up if you have one or less users. Once you start getting more users, this button will disappear. It's a little bit of a fail-safe. It's not going to break your app if someone happens to figure out how to come in here and click this. What it basically is doing is just pointing the app towards base Sepolia. But this is just a way to kind of prime the pump. So let's click that. And the way we can check that it worked is if we go to app data and switch to the live database. Looks like someone came into the app as well. And here we go. There we go. So previously this would be empty. I think, again, this is a bubble precaution. They launched the live app with an empty database. And so what we can do now, what we should be able to do is open our login modal. Because previously we wouldn't be able to open the modal if there was a completely blank set of configurations in the back end. I wouldn't know what wallet it was pointing at, or sorry, which chain it was pointing at, etc. So now we can log in for the first time. Again, we're going to use our test account. And again, the reason we can do this in live is because we pushed all those client IDs and project IDs and all that stuff to live. And this, as you can see, this is working. What we can do is actually go to the home page. And then similar steps here. We want to go to the user and set this user to an admin. And again, we'll see the admin settings pop up. And in this case, let's say we want to point this live environment to base mainnet, which we can do via that drop down. Click update technical settings. And a good way to double check that that's been successful is go to inspect, click web3 auth, and there's that web3 auth header value, and there you go. You can see base mainnet 8453. So from there, again, we're not going to run through these steps, but if you rewind the tape, go back, look at the video. What you want to do is deploy a marketplace contract, marketplace v3 contract on Thirdweb, but make sure you deploy it to whatever mainnet you're targeting, right? So whether that's base mainnet, ETH mainnet, or Polygon, or others eventually if you want to add, then obviously everything will be synced up, right? And you want to just take that value and plug it into either the admin settings, or the last thing maybe I can show you is if you go to technical settings and edit this one value and you scroll down, there's the Thirdweb marketplace contract input. Thirdweb market it's cut off a little bit, but that's contract. And so that's another place you can input it if you want to go direct to the source. So I hope that was helpful. We took a little bit of time to go back and forth in terms of actually just setting up accounts. That's actually the most time-consuming part of this, but a necessary part. And but I hope this was helpful. We'll probably have a follow-up video for some of the subsequent steps, but this should hopefully get everybody up and running, at least with their connectivity, their first users, and having the thing be accessible and usable by their app users. So hope that's helpful, and I'll see you guys around. If you have any questions, please come onto our Discord, Web3 No Code Discord. Always welcome new people who are either new to building, new to Web3, or both. And if you come in there, drop a question, we'll be sure to answer. So cool. See you around.